Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage in Area 51, back on that this week. Had a couple of little detour videos with, doing a bit of like sign painting on things. We missed some stuff, so that's where we're going this week. If you remember when we painted this thing, I thought my trim covered this whole area. Well, it doesn't. It actually only covers half of it. So I've got to do a bit of a blend in with some patina-y stuff in there. I also want to bring a bit into these returns on the front fenders, and I'll do a little bit more up there because I made some other messy stuff with the colour, But yeah, so we're all masked up and ready to go anyway, so let's get at it. I've got to do some other stuff first, so this will be on the weekend. It's currently Thursday. But we're kind of pretty much ready to go, so I can hit that Saturday morning because I've only got one day this weekend to get some stuff done on the Area 51. We've got a club event on Sunday, which will take up half my weekend, but that's all right. Yeah, so I just want to do a little bit of touchy-uppy, blendy stuff on there. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of work in the boot. Got to do some seam sealing and some painting and that in here. I haven't seam sealed anything inside the boot, or the trunk, as it's known in some parts of the world. So behind all the welds and, around the wheel tubs and various places, I've got to get some seam sealer on there. So let's get at it. All right, so what a dick. Okay, so I forgot to take this off. I thought I'd got my brush all ready, but I didn't. Okay, so bought a little cheapy PAL brush that I'm going to use to do the seam sealing. It's a bit bigger than what I normally use, but I want to kind of speed the pace of this up a little bit. So I want to seal up some of this stuff. I'm not worried about the kind of super clean, tidy finish. It's all going to get some underbody spray on here as well, so this will be just fine. So, just more of that, basically. old man noises. Oh god, that's hard actually, like leaning over there, brushing in seam sealer into awkward places. Oh, now I'm standing upright, I've got a bit of a head rush going on. That seam sealer's a little on the fumey side, I should say. Yeah, as you're seeing, I filmed some of it just got really hard to try and film, so I was just trying to like get some seam sealer into these you know, around by the tubs and any of these lap joints and stuff, and around here I've actually already had done that, and some of the stuff back there, but I did it again anyway. Laid in a bit here because the steel's a bit thin. In hindsight, I should have rebuilt the trunk floor in this thing. Not happening now, but well, we've got to find out whether the petrol tank's going to hit the ground yet, so it might come out yet, you never know. But yeah, we sort of had to seam seal up behind all the welds and stuff from all the stuff we did on the rear quarters. It's kind of hard to see, but down in here and up under, just under this lip there, hopefully the camera's pointing in the right direction. Prior to me getting this car, someone had already replaced the rear valance part with a kind of an original reproduction, or they'd made one, I'm not sure, but then I cut it all out and did it all again. So there was a couple of rows of weldy stuff that I wanted to seal up from the backside behind there. As I've said in previous videos, my logic for all this seam sealing, all the welds, wherever I can get to on the inside, is just if there's any little pinholes or any little bits of anything in there, if I can just plug that up with some seam sealer and then some stone guard and underbody spray or whatever, something to stop moisture getting into those pinholes, and then, you know, if there was a pinhole on a weld right there, for argument's sake, moisture getting in from the back blows it out from the underside and eats it away under any filler or fiberglass or whatever that I've jammed in there to make it look pretty. So it's rust prevention, it's not aesthetics that I'm concerned about when I do this sort of thing. Like it's the trunk floor. I mean, it's not one of those, you know, show cars that's going to have, you know, the fully decked out trunk floor sort of thing. It's going to be, aims to be more practical, hopefully, although it's not very big. So I'll stone guard all the trunk floor and that, and then I'll just paint it black. Got some Hammerlite black that I'm going to brush around there, or might try and spray it, yeah, but it can get quite messy. And yeah, that'll just make the boot floor, trunk floor tidy, serviceable is what I'm looking for. Yeah, so that's it for my explanation for my idiocracy, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Yeah, rust prevention, not aesthetics. So, and just sealing that shit up so moisture can't get into gaps and under lap joints and stuff was my goal for that, and in pinholes. Summary done. Okay, so that's it till probably the weekend. I'll get in here and, or maybe tomorrow night I might spray the stone guard around, but I'll have to mask off all my step notch and stuff and do some bits and bobs just to protect some other bobs and bits, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, maybe tomorrow, most likely Saturday, but maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Hey guys, so next day, all my seam sealers all dry. I'm gonna do a bit of masking in here, cover up the step notch and protect a few things, and get ready to squirt some stone guard in there. I'll show you that in a wee bit if you haven't been here before when I've been squirting that stuff around. But yeah, so I'll just get ahead and do some masking, and we'll be back in a minute. Masked everything that I want to mask, or hopefully I need to mask at this point. This is the stuff here that we're going to be shooting around the place with this bad mamma jamma right here, my Schutz gun. So we're gonna just, yeah, squirt a bit of that around and tidy up that boot a wee bit, you know what I'm saying. So let's get at it. Alrighty, so that's that splattered. The old Schutz gun, I bought that years ago when I was doing my Monaro, and it's been an invaluable tool for doing stuff like this, floors, underfloors, things like that. I use that stone guard because it's paintable, and I will be painting over this just with the sort of hammer finish stuff, which I might actually try and do tomorrow while it's all still masked up, and that way I only have to unmask it and mask it once, that kind of deal. And I'll be doing the inner floor with the same finish of the inside of the thing. It's a hard, watertight seal, you know. It's, again, not trying to get any kind of beautiful painted finish on there. I just want it sealed up, watertight, so water, which will no doubt get into the boot, because I haven't figured out the boot rubber situation yet. There's drain holes, so it doesn't kind of just eat into raw steel and things like that. And yeah, so that's that for now. I just got to clean out that thing. I actually used the rest of that can. It wasn't a full can, by the way. That was about, I don't know, 3/4 full or 2/3 full. So I just got to clean that out, and then I'll let this dry overnight. Hopefully it'll be dry tomorrow, and then tomorrow we'll get into touching up the patina on the upper firewall, lower windscreen part, I think. So that video on that, painting this car, hasn't actually come out yet. That's due to come out this coming Monday. So today is Friday, so next Monday, the one coming, that's when the video on all of this actually comes out. So I still haven't had any feedback from the internet on this as of yet. I have from a few friends and family and stuff have seen it, and so far it's been pretty positive. So I was always going to do it what I wanted to do to this thing. I have had some other ideas on something I've been thinking about, like, because one of the other kind of paint concepts was like painted, or you know, this color, but then with scallops, and I thought, I wonder if I could still put scallops on it with the fade through, if you know what I mean, trying to bluff that in, but don't know yet. I don't know if it's something I want to do or what. So I'm gonna be putting trim and stuff on and kind of putting some stuff back together and trying to get a picture of what the whole car is going to look like, kind of a little bit more complete, before I make that call, because I can do that afterwards, the way I've been thinking about it. Anyway, clean out this Schutz gun and see you tomorrow. Oh, she's a bit foggy this morning, so a good day for painting lacquer. Nah, not really. So last night sprayed that. It's still wet as it's been too cold for it to dry, or too much moisture in the air, sort of thing. So I'm hopefully get a bit of air through here today and that can dry off. But we're going to get ahead and touch up the bits that I missed. So let me get all my equipment out, wipe this down, and let's get at it. Okay, so pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to blow a little bit of thinners over the top of this just to kind of soften it up a little bit. It's all been sanded and scotch brighted and all that kind of malarkey, but I kind of just want to soften it just a scotch, just to help the touch up kind of eat in, and then we'll get in there with some black and such. Start doing it. Okay, so I came back and did my, as the same on the main body of the car. I did the black and then did that kind of reddy brown, and then kind of came back with the black and back and forth a few times. A little bit of Scotch Brite, and then a little bit of more black and red brown, and then I just came in again with kind of this more kind of goldy brown. You can see little specks of it here and there, and just kind of dusted a bit of that in over the top again, and then a little touch of black here and there. Now I'll come back in with the old Scotchy, take some of it back out again, and you know, make it look less sprayed, a little bit more textured as such, maybe, hopefully. That's the goal. And where is that Scotch? Right, there it is. And then might, as a kind of finale, come in with the airbrush a little bit and just do a little bit down here. I'm still going to have that edge in there. It's not a big deal. Oh, just bringing it back, doing that. Just make it a little bit less kind of prominent than that hard edge. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking when I masked it off there. I should have masked off the lip entirely, if you know what I'm saying. But live and learn. Next time, if I do it again, I'll do it different. Just take a bit of that out, kind of dirty it up, make it look like there's kind of stuff happening. What it is that's happening, I have no idea really. Right, what next? Yeah, I suppose I might drag the old, I might do a little bit more Scotch Briting around the return on the fenders, and then maybe get the old airbrush out and do some of that. Lost my cleaning rag. Can't remember where I sprayed more stuff now, but we were doing a bit of a wiping down. Ah, it's around here, that's right. Oh, I remember now. Oh, maybe I should come back in here with a bit of bronzy, goldy sort of colour, I think. Just a wee touch just into these areas, just to kind of give it a little bit of something. What? good for a regulator to drag it on the floor like that. Beautiful. Alrighty, come back into these and take some of that off again. Whoopsie. Uh-oh. Damn it. Hang on. Back in a minute. Okay. Had the old HP Eclipse kind of clipped up onto the shop press, and it unclipped itself and shot itself down the ground. I've got a little hook thing that I can hook that onto, but I always get too impatient to mount it somewhere, and then I end up tripping over my ear lead anyway and dragging it across the floor. So when I'm doing things like this where you're running off the big lead and kind of having all this rather than sitting at an easel or some static place airbrushing, I always drag that thing around. But it's a pretty tough little airbrush, I tell you. And you got some mongrel like me using it. Just turn that back a little bit. Back into there just a touch. And there. Shorty. Just gonna, with these bits in here, look, I dropped my scotchy. I'm trying to just kind of come in the lower edge of it, if that makes sense. So kind of trying to get away from that tape edge that I made last week, but it'll still be there to a degree, but that's alright. It's just to kind of take the eye off it a bit, you know. I really like that bit. I think that's about it. I think if I keep going around and around and around this thing, I'm just going to make it really obvious that it's been done at a different time. It might do yet anyway. Is this dry yet? No. It's drying. Temperature's coming up a little bit. Fog's kind of lifted, and sun's coming out. So hopefully we get a bit of warmth in the air to dry out that trunk floor and stuff. Anyway, that's that. I'm just going to lay a bit of flat clear on there just to lock it in, and that's that done. Then I can unmask it so it looks like, hopefully it doesn't look absolutely shite, but it should be okay. There's trim covering most of it. Okay, so got one last little stage. This is my lightened version of the body colour. Just gently scooping some in here. This is a very slow way of doing it, but probably less messy than if I tried to pour out of this jar that I've got it stored in. I don't need much. That hopefully should do it. Just going to dust a little bit of that in a couple of spots, and then we're clear time. that's my little Iwata eclipse, HP eclipse all put away. Dropped on the floor. Yeah. Cleaned out, getting ready to put it away. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's just as far as like airbrushes go, this thing here is just like a real good general all-round workhorse airbrush. I've had Pash airbrushes as well. I've still got one actually, which is quite a good airbrush as well. It's a Millennium or something. But yeah, the old HP Eclipse is just a general all-round good airbrush for all sorts of stuff. That's my, I've got one of these little Chinesian ones here, and got that one there, which is a good airbrush as well. I just find I can get a little bit more control with the Iwata, and just kind of really robust little airbrush. They do finer ones for, you know, you see people using microns and stuff, and they do really little detailed stuff with those, but what I generally use it for, that's fine. I don't do much, to be honest. Wish I had more time, but it's so labor intensive to do really full on airbrushy stuff. But yeah, just thought I'd show you that. Okay, so ready to go with some clear. I'm going to do the same format as I did to the rest of the car. I'll do a couple of coats of gloss clear, and then I'll go back in with some flattening base in the clear and just flatten off some of it, probably most of it. So let's do it. Alrighty, so that's a couple of light coats of clear, quite thin, like it's not like you'd do with like a 2K clear where you kind of like pour it on, going for that real glassy look. I'm just locking in the soft kind of layers of paint, the airbrushing, and then this soft stuff, so it doesn't just kind of like rub off as if general cleaning and stuff. Like this car won't get polished, it might get waxed but not polished, you know. So just got to do a little bit of a dance around with the flat clear, and which I've mixed up some flattening base in there, into there, and yeah, so let's just get that done and then unmask this thing and see what it looks like. Okay, so one of the things I was worried about, like touching up those returns on those fenders, was getting that to look kind of consistent at the edge. So I did a soft edge masking where I kind of folded it around and stuff, and I was just kind of like wanting to see how that worked. This side here you could kind of see a little bit more of the transition, so I just kind of went in with the Scotch-Brite and just kind of knocked it back. I might just run over that now just with some straight thinners like I did on the rest of the car, same up here, just to sort of even out some of this where I've kind of put the flattening base in. It's actually a little bit kind of glossier than last time, because in typical DMAC Customs fashion I didn't measure out my flattening base. I just kind of had a stab at it and thought it looks alright, and so I can't remember how much I put in per litre or ounce or whatever of clear. So don't know whether I put quite enough in it, but I'll spray a bit of straight thinners over it and it'll be fine. Like most of it you can't even see, but yeah, once the trim goes on and the bonnet's shut, you won't see really hardly any of it. Anyways, so clean this out and then spray some straight thinners, and then we're done. Washing machine. Okay, so that's it all unmasked. She's probably a little darker than the bonnet, but that doesn't matter because it's the inconsistencies that make it consistent, if that makes any sense. And most of that's going to be covered with trim, and the bonnet's going to sit a little different and stuff anyway. Can see a little bit of an edge here, but again, doesn't really worry me. It's like we've got a little bit more kind of goldy here, but it's just, you know, it's just what it is. That's fine. Now that I've pointed it out, you'll know it's there, and if I hadn't pointed it out, probably wouldn't have noticed. But yeah, so that's that little fixed her up. And but yeah, she's a little bit glossier than the rest, but that'll be fine. I might like let it harden up and then just flatten it off with a green Scotch Brite. It's the washing machine again. But yeah, I was hoping to be getting on to painting this after doing that, but it's still really wet. There's no airflow, there's no air movement, no wind or nothing today, so I'm not getting anything moving through the garage. It's probably only about 12 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, so it's not overly warm. So that stone guard's water based, so it needs 10 degrees or up to really dry. So the drying is slow. So hoping we've got a heater I could put on it, or a heat lamp or anything. I've got a heat gun, like a paint stripping heat gun. Could try that. Anyway, we'll figure out what we're doing next. I do need to paint the floors in here, but I was hoping to do the boot before I started in here. But maybe I'll do that. Washing machine. I was going to spray it, but the paint that I've got is probably going to be quite tacky in the air, so I actually consider I might just brush the floor. Go that way, maybe. Doesn't have to be super pretty, it just has to be sealed up. And okay, so this is an exercise in impatient patience. Gotta be patient to slowly dry off this stone guard stuff, but I'm being really, really impatient because I want to paint it now, but it's not dry. So I could do the inside floor, but I want to paint the boot floor first because I've got a kind of plan in mind, and this is slow drying is interfering with my plan. So I'm just going to carry on with my little Black & Decker heat gun and keep drying this off. It's getting there, but it's slow going. I actually thought about putting this in there, shutting the boot lid so it gets really hot in there, but then kind of worried that strange things will happen. Okay, so it's some time later, an undisclosed amount of time later, on the old heat gun that's laying down there cooling off, and I've dried off that stone guard stuff. Like, pretty sure it's dry. It's kind of dryish. So I'm gonna paint it. Hopefully it's all good. Anyway, let's do it. Okay, so that's the first coat down. Didn't really want to spray that well, like it. I used it straight out of the can. It doesn't mention thinning. Probably should have thinned it maybe 10% or something. But it I just, like, my fan was only like that wide, so it was like using a rattle can, which was fine for kind of shooting up the back. And I kind of did have my paint sort of volume down and my ear down because I didn't want to blow too much, like overspray around the place, because it's an enamel type paint. It is a fast dry enamel though, so it's drying pretty quick. I just don't want that floating around in the ear and landing on everything, which hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, so I let that go off. It says to leave it for about an hour and then hit a second coat. So I'm going to hit a second coat in the main areas. I won't worry too much up the back and up underneath. It's more the main floor and the lower areas, and trying to get a good coat in here is really difficult. I may go back in there with a brush and just kind of brush a good coat in there too when I do the other floor in the car, the main floor. Okay, be back. Okay, so that's the boot second coated. I did thin it down 10% just to see if I could get a bit better of a spray out of it. All it did is seem to make a bit more overspray, so I had turned the air right down to try and minimize that, because I didn't want it all floating around, landing on, you know, out here and stuff as much as possible. But yeah, so let that dry off, and then I'm going to start brushing in the floor. I'm going to brush in the main floor because I don't see any real benefit of spraying this stuff. It just looks like black. It's supposed to be that Hammerlite sort of finish, but it's the first time I've ever used a black Hammerlite. So I am kind of, I'm just unmasking, just getting distracted. So I am, yeah, kind of like, it's just going to be black looking, so it's not going to have that Hammerlite finish, but yeah. Just want to get these off before everything sets up too hard. Righty. Changed my mind. I'm gonna unmask. I just like unmasking stuff. I'm going to leave that masking on there for now till I've brushed in on the inside and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Detour again before I start painting the inner floor, kind of avoiding it. I've had the original kind of little rubbers that go down on these tabs here, kind of just taped on there with a couple of extra little spaces on there to give them, and that's kind of where my trunk lid sort of wants to sit. So I was rummaging through my rubber kit, rubbers that came with this car. I got some window rubbers and door rubbers and felts and things like that, random little things, and there's a hood rubber bumper kit which has all the little rubbers that go down the side of the hood, and there's 4 that go on top of the grille. There's that one there and that one there, doubled up, and they're in the kit, but there were 2 extra rubbers, these 2 here, which are different to the original ones, but I'm going to use them on there. You know, these just kind of going to bolt on, screw on, bolt on somehow. I need to find some little fasteners to go through there, and I'm going to put those on because I like having the rubbers on there so the trunk lid sits where it's supposed to sit. So I'll rummage around in my nuts and bolts cabinet and see what I can find. Yeah, so we got lots of nuts and bolts and little random things that I've collected over the years. So they're just crappy little zinky things, no good. These are like way too long. These might be a go. Yep, that'll do us, I think. I need 2 of those. I've got got washers. Got one nut on that one. What do the nuts look like that? What are they? So I definitely got one. Why? Will that fit on there? No. Oh, look at these nylox. Oh yeah, that's even better. Nylox. And there. So with that nylock. Is that going to fit? Come on. No. Why have I got one odd nylock nut that fits these, but then the others don't? The washers there. There you have it. Don't fail me now, magic drawer of nuts and bolts. Oh, hang on. Okay, if I can't have nylocks, I at least want to have two the same. But I'm going to have to cut them down. And might grab a couple of these washers. That'll do us. So I need to cut these down by how much? Probably want to cut about that much off. Zip disc. Yep. Yep, nuts go back on. Alright, just push these through there, like so. And then I'm going to have some lunch. Yeah. Alright, and then we'll bolt those on after lunch. Just quickly put these on. I just want want them on. I want these on there, you know what I'm saying? Trying to think and do things with my hands at the same time gets really hard sometimes. Just like that. Oh, I like it. Beauty. They're just the right size, I reckon. Once you get the catch on there, it'll go click, click. Be perfect. Right, now, painting. We're gonna brush on some straight up probiotic vanilla bean yogurt. That'd be perfect. Let's do it. Might see if I can get some more light in here actually. Might transfer this in through the window and see if I can peg it up in there somehow. Yeah, I've got some light in here now. Whoa. Almost fell over. So this is going to be a bit of a long, kind of boring process. So I'm going to chuck some headphones on and get to painting, and I'll keep you updated as I go through. Basically just going to brush all this on. I'm going to do that parcel tray and all this rear piece. Eventually I'm going to make a panel to fill that, just to kind of keep some of the compressor noise down for the air ride. Yeah, so I've been through and given this a vacuum. I haven't kind of wiped it all out. It's not that kind of mission critical really. I just want to kind of make it sort of sealed up and a little bit more presentable. Know what I'm saying? I've got a flash new brush. I'll give that a run. So let's do it. Oh yeah, it's one of those things I've been sort of hanging out to do for a long time, is to get that kind of painted, but I didn't want to paint that till I painted the car. It always bothers me when you see all that overspray and crap like that inside. I haven't done the inside of the doors, they're just in epoxy, so they'll be fine once we get door cards on there. But yeah, I just wanted to get those floors tidied up, and they now are. I only did one coat on them because I've not quite run out of paint. I only had enough to do. That's all I got left. So that's out of a litre basically to do the boot floor. And well, I did 2 coats in the boot, but only 1 coat here. I may give another coat if I can stretch it out in the footwells in the front. They're the usual sort of spots that, you know, you kind of get water and stuff like that. I mean, it should be fine. It's sealed. It's got, it's etch primed, it's stone guarded, and now it's hammer lighted. So it should be, you know, in theory pretty good. And like I've said before, this is not the sort of car that's going to end up living out in the rain like the poor old bomb truck. I have to put it out there to just get a bit of room. I hate working in and around the truck, especially when I'm painting and dragging that bloody compressor lead and that around. It just gets tangled up around everything. But yeah, so pretty happy with that. It's only 3 o'clock, and yeah, I feel like I've done a heap today, and I started quite early, about 8. So what's that? How many hours? And yeah, like I've painted all the boot floor, painted all the floors. I've touched up my misses on the firewall, and you know, that's all kind of cleaned up, ready to go. You know, some people might not like that kind of transition, but my idea is that, you know, it's sort of someone's come in and, you know, taken the old 6 out and just cleaned up the engine bay. That's kind of the idea, as well as the sunburnt parked up, you know, type of deal, which we explained in the last paint video. But yeah, so there we have it. Still got to clean out my brush. What an awesome brush, actually. That was just a relatively cheap one I bought the other day. It's synthetic. It kind of brushes nicely, actually. I'm kind of quite keen to use that on some enamel paint. This stuff here, I thought it was like, I mean, it cleans up in turpentine and enamel thinners, but man, it brushes on kind of like lacquer. It's real weird. It's quite strong smelling. I probably should have had a respirator on. There you go, a little bit whoop-de-woo, but it kind of like, the first brush on goes on nice, and it instantly feels like it's like tacking off as soon as you kind of move the brush to go back over what you've just put on there, sort of thing. But yeah, interesting. I've never brushed it before. I've sprayed it. I've only bought that stuff in rattle cans before, and I have, my Plymouth, I sprayed some stuff. It might have been rattle cans as well, actually, and the silver Hammerlite, and I did the transmission on this on the silver Hammerlite. And but yeah, Hammerlite, something like that. This stuff, hammer finish, yeah. That's a Sepatone brand. That's from Super Cheap Auto here in New Zealand. Relatively cheap. I think it was about $50 for the litre or something. But I think they're doing away with that brand. They've kind of got another brand on the shelf, which I think is just their home brand, which is probably the same stuff but in a different can with an extra $10 on it. But yeah, enough about that. Feel like I did a lot today, even though, you know, like just finishing stuff. But what it means is I can now get ahead and start putting like the handbrake and that back in, and all the under dash stuff, get all that kind of prepped up, paint what's got to be painted, you know, start looking at mounting the heater, the wiper motor, all that kind of stuff. It's all kind of been mocked up, but it's been installed, but it now needs to be kind of finished, I think, God, it's been so long since I've done some of this stuff, I can't really remember. Oh, I've just loosely bolted a couple of bits of trim on there just to see how it worked. First scratch choice. But we'll get into that in a later video. I've got a bit of work to do on the trim and I want to kind of put it all on in one, but we've got a shed raid here coming here tomorrow with the Hot Rod Club, so I just kind of wanted to show some of the folks kind of what it's going to be going to, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so we got our, you know, our touch up done up the front bit that I missed. Floors painted, trunk floor painted. Little rubbers on there. I actually put the rubbers on the side of the bonnet, and I was trying to make sense of what was what. Probably can't see that side, it's too dark. Hang on. Those little rubbers that run down the side there, put those on just out of curiosity, just so basically metal's not rubbing on metal when I shut the hood, you know. And yeah, the trunk lids, boot floor's all nice and dry and stuff now. Flash now, there's new rubbers on there. But yeah, so that's where we'll leave this one. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, hit the button, like the notifications bell and all that kind of stuff. Share and comment and things. Do some things. And yeah, next round we might look at doing the trim. I'm not sure. I've got so much to choose from now, you know. Kind of weather dependent. If it's a crappy day like this, might look at the trim. That's a kind of nice inside thing where old bomb truck can kind of stay in his posse. If not, that's when I can maybe start looking at all the other bracketry that's all got to be painted. We would wrap this thing up, bomb truck out the way, and paint a whole bunch of little black brackets and bits and bobs and battery trays and crap like that, and then we can look at installing all of that stuff. But yeah, a couple of things I can do. I've got to paint some stuff for the trunk latch, and then I can put that release system and that back in there so that can actually latch properly, but I need a longer cable. Lots of stuff. But yeah, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I just got totally sidetracked on the exit, the outro. But yeah, got some stuff done. It's cool. So subscribe. As always, thank you very much for watching. We're on Instagram and the Facebook if you so care to go and have a look. It's not really much going on, really, to be honest. I just post pictures of stuff and just spam people like saying I've got a new video coming on. Make sure you like, share, comment, all that kind of good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching. Till next time, take it easy and peace. It's going to take a while to edit this. I think I've repeated myself about 5 times.